When did we first stand up and walk? This simple question has sparked a 7 million-year debate, a scientific detective story that takes us back to the very dawn of humanity. Our story begins with a great divergence, the moment our ancestors split from the lineage of chimpanzees. How do we even pinpoint such an ancient event? Scientists rely on two powerful tools: genetics and fossils. Genetically, we share about 99% of our DNA with chimpanzees. That tiny 1% difference holds the key. By studying the rate at which genetic mutations build up over time, like a ticking clock, we can wind that clock backward. This molecular clock points to a split somewhere between 6 and 7 million years ago. But genetics only tell us asterisk when asterisk we parted ways, not asterisk how asterisk. For that, we turn to fossils. Paleoanthropologists search for one crucial clue: bipedalism, the ability to walk on two legs. This wasn't just a change in posture. It was a revolutionary adaptation. As Africa's climate transformed dense forests into open savannas, walking upright became a survival advantage. It allowed our ancestors to see over tall grass, spot predators, free their hands to carry food or tools, and travel long distances more efficiently under the hot sun. Bipedalism is the very first chapter of the human story. For a long time, the clearest evidence came from a fossil named Ororhyntuganensis, dating back 6 million years. The secret was in its thigh bone, the femur. The shape of Orion's femur, particularly its long neck, looked strikingly similar to our own. This design is built to handle the unique stresses of walking upright. Even more telling was the bone's internal structure. When scientists examined its density, they found it was thinner at the top and thicker at the bottom, a signature pattern of weight distribution seen only in species that walk on two legs. Ororhyn was no mere tree dweller. It was already walking the earth, but the plot thickened in 2001 with a discovery that pushed our origins back another million years. In the deserts of Chad, a team unearthed a 7 million-year-old skull. They nicknamed it Tumai, which means hope of life in the local language. This fossil, scientifically known as Sahelanthropus chadensis, was a potential game-changer. Could this be the very root of the human family tree? The initial argument for Tumai's bipedalism focused on the foramen magnum. That's the hole at the base of the skull where the spinal cord connects to the brain. In four-legged animals, it's positioned towards the back of the skull. In humans, it's more central, right underneath, allowing the head to balance on an upright spine. Tumai's foramen magnum was positioned forward, suggesting an upright posture. However, the scientific community was divided. The skull was heavily distorted and crushed over millions of years. Its brain capacity was still very much upright, and some researchers argued that other bones found nearby, like a femur, looked more suited for climbing in trees or walking on all fours. Tumai remained a tantalizing but controversial mystery. Was it one of us, or just a distant cousin? The debate raged for nearly 2 decades. The key, it turned out, was locked away in that contested femur. Recently, a team of researchers at New York University decided to take a fresh look using cutting-edge technology. They couldn't physically piece the fragmented bone together, so they turned to the virtual world. Using high-resolution 3D scans, they digitally reconstructed the femur, allowing them to analyze its features with unprecedented accuracy. Their findings, published in the journal Science Advances, were stunning. They identified 3 subtle but critical clues that had been missed before. First, they looked at something called femoral torsion. This is a specific twist in the shaft of the thigh bone. In humans, this twist helps align our feet to point forward when we walk, giving us a stable and efficient stride. Apes lack this feature, but the digital reconstruction of Toomai's femur showed it was there. Second, they found a distinct protrusion where key hip muscles attach. These muscles are vital for stabilizing the body when we stand on one leg, which we do with every single step we take. The presence of this reinforced attachment site strongly indicated that Toomai's body was built for the demands of bipedal balance. But the third and most definitive clue was a small, almost insignificant-looking bony nub called the ligament tubercle. This is the attachment point for the strongest ligament in the entire human body. Its job is to prevent our torso from toppling backward when we stand upright. Apes don't have it. We do, and so did Toomai. This tiny piece of anatomy was the smoking gun. It provided clear, functional evidence that Sahelanthropus was not just capable of walking on 2 legs, but that its body was already adapting to do it regularly. So, does this mean Toomai was, just like us, strolling across the savannah? Not quite. The evidence points to something called habitual bipedalism, not obligate bipedalism. What's the difference? We modern humans are obligate bipeds. We have to walk on 2 legs to get around efficiently. Our bodies are completely specialized for it. Toomai, on the other hand, was likely a habitual biped. It was comfortable and efficient on 2 legs, but it hadn't lost its ability to climb. It probably still had long arms and powerful hands, spending part of its life in the trees for safety or to find food. It was a creature of 2 worlds, a perfect transitional fossil caught between the branches and the ground. This new understanding paints a much more nuanced picture of our evolution. Becoming human wasn't a single dramatic event where an ape suddenly stood up and walked away. It was a gradual, messy, and protracted process spanning millions of years. Our ancestors experimented with different ways of moving, adapting to a changing world step by step. Of course, the debate isn't entirely over. Some critics still argue that the fossils are too damaged, the reconstructions too speculative. But the consensus is shifting. Most experts now agree that Sahelanthropus, our 7-million-year-old ancestor Toomai, represents the earliest known glimmer of the human lineage. It shows that the journey to walking upright began far earlier and was far more complex than we ever imagined. Today, scientists are returning to the harsh, wind-swept deserts of Chad, searching for more clues, more bones to add to this incredible story. Each new discovery helps us piece together the puzzle of our own origins, revealing that the story of how we stood up is as intricate and profound as the DNA we all carry. Thanks for joining us on this journey back in time. If you found this as fascinating as we do, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the mysteries of the past. See you next time.